you in the future. Hello everyone, welcome to our Sinocal Lab Studio, and my name is Paris and I'm from Sinocal. And if you are not familiar with me, it doesn't matter, and we will have met often in the future. And today we are going to talk about the everything you need to know about the diabetes. As we all know, the diabetes is a big kind of disease in the world, and from this live studio, and we will introduce you to comprehensive knowledge about the diabetes. We will do a live series so you can learn a lot about diabetes and other healthy, helpful knowledge that will help you a lot. So first, today, let's approach the diabetes in this live broadcast. You will learn the current status of the diabetes in the world and the rate and the etiology, symptoms, types of diabetes, and so on. So let's follow me to learn more about the diabetes. And first, I will show you the PowerPoint. Yes, you can see in the screen. Yes, this is the PowerPoint of the IDF. Yes, do you know what is the IDF? It's International Diabetes Federation. So it's a very, it has so big authoritative situation, right? So now you can see, according to his data, it clarifies the status of the diabetes. Yes, let's look at the first PowerPoint. Is we can see the number of people with diabetes in adults and are aged 20 to 79 in the world is 537 million, accounting for 1 of 10 of the total population. So it's a big, huge numbers, right? And the second is there are 319 million adults with impaired fasting glucose among adults aged 20 to 18 in the world, accounting for 1 of 18 of the total population. Is also a big, huge numbers, right? And the second we can see the 3/4 of the world's diabetes patients are from low and middle income countries, such as the countries from Africa and so on. And the first is about half of the world's 537 million people with diabetes are undiagnosed. Yes, it's also a huge numbers. So the status of the diabetes is very strict, right? There are lots of people even don't know they have the diabetes, so it's a big problem. And the sixth is the diabetes accounts for about 99% of total global health spending is $66 billion. So it's a huge facilities, right? It takes a lot of money on the diabetes every month. TikTok 卡了 There are 这种 TikTok 卡了 There are and then there are 541 million people with impaired glucose tolerance in adults aged 20 to 80 in the world, and accounting for 1 of 9 of the total population. And the next is about 1.2 million children and adolescents under the age of 20 have type 1 diabetes. Yes, guys, do you know what is the type 1 diabetes? Yes, it's different from the type 2 diabetes. Type 1 diabetes are common in the teenagers. So there are so many teenagers have the type 1 diabetes with no functions of their pancreas. So their organs cannot produce the insulins anymore, and they need to inject the insulins for the needles. And about 1.2 million of children and adolescents under the age of 20 have type 1 diabetes is also a big count of the numbers, right? And the next is about 16.7 million deaths linked to diabetes. Okay, let's turn to the next PowerPoint. And this PowerPoint is also introduce the status of the diabetes, and there is 1.657 million more adults suffer from impaired glucose tolerance, and diabetes health spending increased by 20.06 billion dollars, and then over the 7 million more pregnant women are affected by the diabetes during the pregnancy. Yes, which means the gestational diabetes. Hi, good day from Philippines. Hi, welcome our friends to our Sinocare Live Studio. So welcome, and my name is Paris, and you can call me Paris. And today, I will give you some introduction of the status of the diabetes and the knowledge of the diabetes and I will let you know the more details of the diabetes. So the things I want to tell you, what is important is please pay attention to the diabetes is a big problem in the world or in your country. Yes, it's also a healthy problem among the people. Yes, and let's turn to and let's keep the eye on this PowerPoint. And there is 7.8 million more adults with undiagnosed diabetes, and is more children and adolescents with type 1 diabetes, and there is 2.5 million more deaths from diabetes, and more adults have diabetes. So from these two PowerPoints, we have learned that the status of the diabetes in the world, and it's very strict, right? And it's whether the numbers of the diabetes or the take of the diabetes are all rise 1 year by 1 year, right? So the things we need to know is we must pay attention to the diabetes and have and keep a good control with your diabetes. Okay, let's turn to the third PowerPoint, and it estimates of the global of diabetes in the 20 to 80 years are groups from 200 to 2012, the number of people with diabetes has increased by 386 million, and the growth rate is higher from 2010 to 2011. Research need to be combined with the data later, and projections of the global prevalence of diabetes in the 20 to 80-year groups. And over time, the predicted value of diabetes prevalence at a certain time in the future increase year by year. So we need to pay more attention to the diabetes. And this PowerPoint is shows that low-income countries has lower prevalence of diabetes in the 40 to 80 age groups than middle and high incomes countries, because so many people in the low income countries, their meals and foods is including high carbs, right? So the high carbs foods will raise your blood sugar in the fast time. So you will get high rates to get the diabetes. But for the high income, for the middle and high income countries, the people in well is can eat a healthy food, which means they will get the lower rate to get the diabetes. And the age of 44 is the highest incidence of diabetes incidence, and 30 to 44 years old is the golden age to prevent the diabetes. So if you are the person who in the 30 to 44 years old, so you need to pay more attention of your healthy, especially the diabetes. And when you in this age, you can prevent the diabetes. It's the best time. And let's turn to this PowerPoint. Yes, it shows the top 10 countries with diabetes. There are China, India, Pakistan, and USA, Indonesia, Brazil, Mexico, Bangladesh, and Japan, and Egypt. Yes, we can see the first, yes, as well, the most people who have diabetes countries is China, as well the number of the people account as well is the most, and also we can see the USA is also the top countries with diabetes, right? Okay, and this above data is according to the IDF, yes, which means the International Diabetes Federation. So it's a very authoritative federation. So if you have any questions or any comments, please feel free to leave your comments here, and I will answer you at the first time. So just now we have learned the status of the diabetes, and then let's talk about the more details of the diabetes, such as the reasons of the diabetes and how to tell if you have the diabetes, and the symptoms of different kinds of diabetes and the different kinds of diabetes. And yes, okay, the first is the diabetes. Let's learn more about that. It's called diabetes mellitus is a condition where your body can't make enough insulin or use insulin properly. Insulin is a hormone that regulates how much glucose in your blood. So if you are the person who can make enough insulin or can't make the insulin, so you will get the type 1 diabetes. And if you are the person who can't use the insulin properly, so if maybe you will get the type 2 or gestational diabetes. So let's introduce. There are two main kinds of type of diabetes. Yes, the first is the type 1 diabetes. This type is this is where your immune system destroys beta cells in your pancreas that make insulin. So you can't make enough insulin, or you can't make the insulins anymore. Type 1 diabetes usually develop in childhood or teenager years. So you can see there are so many teenagers in the world who have the diabetes. So yes, there are also many federations to create, and in order to help them to get the high quality of their daily life, right? Yes, as well, our Snowcal also has this kind of federation in China. Yes, we have the type 1 federation in China to help the type 1 diabetes in teenager, and help them to make a good life and to make a good work. And the next type is the type 2 diabetes. Yes, in this type, your body becomes resistant to insulins and doesn't respond to the hormone. So it means you can't use the insulin properly, and which cause problems using glucose. Chastity and weight gain and major factors in getting type 2 diabetes. It often develops later in life, but children who have obesity can also get the type 2 diabetes. So if you see the children who are obesity, so you can consider the type 2 diabetes first, and then the type 1 diabetes. Okay, we have learned the two main kinds of type diabetes. So if you have any questions, please feel free to leave a comment here. Hello, welcome our new friends from Philippines. Okay, my name is Paris, and you can call me Paris, and I'm from Senegal. So nice to meet you. How are you going these days? And hope you have a good day. And today I will introduce the status of the diabetes, and I will let you know the diabetes is not scary, and let's approaching the diabetes and learn more details so that can help you to keep a good control of the disease. So let's go on. The diabetes caused glyceria because there either isn't enough insulin, or your body can't use what's available. Without insulin, blood glucose level become too high, and your kidneys can't filter and respond it. Your body gets rid of the excess through your urine. So if you have the diabetes, it's important to test your blood glucose and take some actions to keep your blood glucose in the normal range, so that you can keep a good health, or you will get so many complications such as your eyes, your kidneys, or your heart or your foods, it will damage all the organs of your bodies. So it's important for every diabetic to take some actions on their diabetes. Okay, after introducing the type 1 and type 2 diabetes, and let's introduce the gestational diabetes. Gestational diabetes is a type of that happens during pregnancy. Your body needs a lot of energy as your baby grows, but sometimes it can keep up with the demand and doesn't make enough insulin. So then you will get the gestational diabetes. So without the insulin, you will have too high sugar levels, and it will show up in your urine, and it also as well damaged to your babies. So you need to pay more attention when you have the gestational diabetes, and you need to keep control strictly with your blood glucose level. And high blood glucose sugar levels during pregnancy can cause problems for you and your baby. So you need to pay more attention in the diabetes. Okay, your baby grows too big and you need C-sections, high blood pressure, high blood sugar in your baby, and risk of heart disease and type 1 diabetes after your pregnancy is over. And your doctor might do in-office urine test at your regular prenatal visits to check you for the high blood sugar, and you will have another test around the 24 to 28 week mark where you drink a glucose drink and have your blood taken, and your doctor might do the blood test if your urine test show high blood glucose level. So if you have any questions about the knowledge I introduced, please feel free to leave a comment here, and you can also ask some questions about me or our projects or the knowledges or any questions about diabetes. I'm glad to answer you all the questions. Okay, if there are no questions, and let's go on. Okay, now let's talk about how to tell if you have the diabetes. Yes, some people will ask the if what to how to know if I was the diabetes or not. Yes, and in the next I will introduce the early signs and the symptoms of the diabetes. Yes, how can you tell if you have the diabetes? Most early symptoms are from higher than normal levels of glucose, a kind of sugar in your blood. So the warning signs can be so mild that you don't notice them. That's especially true for type 2 diabetes. Some people don't find out they have it until they get problems from long-term damage caused by the disease. So it's very dangerous. So with type 1 diabetes, the symptoms usually happen quickly in a matter of days or few weeks. They are much more severe too, and There are early signs of the diabetes. The first is both type of diabetes have some of the same telltale warning signs: hunger and fatigue. Your body converts the food you eat into glucose that your cells use for energy, but your cells need insulin to take in glucose. If your body doesn't make enough or any insulin, or if your cells resist insulin, your body makes the glucose can get into them and you have no energy. This can make you hungrier and more tired than usual. And next is peeing more often and being more thirsty. The average person usually has to pee between 4 and 7 times in 24 hours, but people with diabetes who have the higher blood glucose level go a lot more. Why? Normally, your body reabsorbs glucose as it passes through your kidneys. But when diabetes push your blood sugar up, your kidney may not be able to bring it all back in. And this causes the body to make more urine, and that takes fluids. The results, you will have to go more often. You might pee out more too, because you're peeing so much you can get very thirsty. When you drink more, you also pee more. So if your body tell you you go to the more pees and you get the more thirsties, and you can test your blood sugar to check if there is high or not, and to diagnose the diagnose the early diabetes as well. And then it's dry mouth and ick skin, because your body is using yes, because your body is using fuels to make pee. There is less moisture for other things. You could get dehydrated and your mouth may feel dry. Dry skin can make you itchy. And the next is blurred vision. Changing field levels in your bodies could make the lessons in your eyes swell up. They change shapes and can't focus. Yes, this is the common symptom among the different kinds of diabetes. And then I will introduce some of typical symptoms to different types of diabetes. Yeah, the first is symptoms of type 2 diabetes. This tend to show up after your glucose has been higher for a long time. Yes, the first is yeast infections. Both men and women with diabetes can get this. Yeast feeds on glucose, so having plating around makes it serve. Infections can grow in any worm. Most folds of skin, including between fingers and toes, under breasts, in or around sex organs. Okay, hi. Welcome our new friends to the Sinocal live stream, and my name is Paris, and you can call me Paris. And today I'm going to talk some knowledge about the diabetes, and I will let you know the diabetes is not scary, but you need to pay more attention to it. Okay, let's let's keep go on to the symptoms of the type 2 diabetes. The first is yeast and infections. Both men and women with diabetes can get this. Yeast feeds on glucose, so having plenty around makes it thrive. Infections can grow in any worm, most fold of skin, including between fingers and toes, under breasts, in or around sex organs. And next is slow healing sores and cuts. Over time, high blood sugar can affect your blood flow and cause nerve damage that makes it hard for your body to heal wounds. And next is pain or numbers in your feet or legs. Yes, this is another result of nerve damage. And next, I will let's talk about the symptom of the type 1 diabetes. Yes, type 1 diabetes is a special kind of diabetes. It's more common in the teenagers, and you might notice the unplanned weight loss. If your body can't get energy from your food, it will start burning muscle and fat for energy instead. You may lose weight even though you haven't changed how you eat. See which foods are high in trans fatty acids. And next is nausea and vomiting. When your body resorts to burning fat, it makes ketones. This can build up in your blood to dangerous levels, possibly life-threatening condition called diabetic ketoacidosis. Ketones can make you feel sick to your stomach. And then is the symptom of the gestational diabetes. The high blood sugar during pregnancy usually has no symptoms. You might feel a little thirstier than normal or have to pee more often. So warning signs of the diabetes complications is that signs of type 2 diabetes complications may include the slow healing, sores or cuts, the itching skin is usually around the vaginal or groin area, and frequent yeast infections, and recent well gain and decreased vision and impotence or in erectile dysfunctions. Yes, in the future and in the next series, I will introduce more details about different type of the diabetes, and I will introduce more details to you and to let you to get you have a whole knowledge of the each type of the diabetes. Yes, and the treatment of the diabetes can include the insulin. Yes, the insulin is for the type 1 diabetes is must injections for them. And the next is metformin. Yes, the metformin is most common medicines for type 2 diabetes. It can reduce the insulin resistance, and the next is diet changes. Yes, for most diabetes, you need to take any medicines or insulins. Just keep a good diet so that your blood sugar will get in the normal range. And the next is exercise. Yes, as we all know, the exercise is helpful for us to keep it in healthy, and it's good for the healthy as well as the diabetes. It can help you to keep a good control of your diabetes. And then is ACE inhibitors, and then is statins, antagonist. And what should be emphasized is that not everyone with diabetes is you are well or needs treatment. If you have signs of blood sugar problems, talk to your doctors. So now, as we learned just now, we have learned that the type 2 diabetes is the most common kind of type diabetes in the world, right? The number of this type diabetes is the most. So I think you maybe want to know the type 2 diabetes causes and the risk factors, right? And then I will introduce this for you. Although not everyone with type 2 diabetes is overweight, obesity, and an inactive lifestyle, and two of the most common causes of type 2 diabetes, these things are responsible for about 90% to 95% of diabetes caused in the United States. And what causes type 2 diabetes? And the first is when you are healthy, your pancreas release insulin to help your body store and use sugar from the foods you eat. Diabetes happens when one or more of the following occurs. Your pancreas doesn't make any insulin. Your pancreas makes very little insulin, and these two kind of situation will cause the type 1 diabetes. But when your body doesn't respond the way it should to insulin, you will get the type 2 diabetes. Unlike people with type 1 diabetes, people with type 2 diabetes make insulins, but the insulin their pancreas release isn't enough, or their bodies can't recognize the insulin and use it properly. Doctors often call that insulin resistance. So what I have introduced before, the metformin is reduce the insulin resistance, right? And then when there isn't enough insulin, or the insulin isn't used as it should be, glucose sugar can get into your cells. It builds up in your bloodstream instead. This can damage many areas of the body. Also, since cells aren't getting the glucose they need, they don't work the way they should. And next, I will talk about the risk factors for type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes is believed to have a strong genetic link, meaning that it tends to run in families. If you have a parent, brother, or sisters who has the type 2 diabetes, your chance rise. Several genes may be related to type to diabetes, ask your doctor about diabetes test if you have any of the following risk factors. The first is high blood pressure, high blood fat levels is too high if it's over 115 milligrams per liter, and low good cholesterol level, and it's too low if it's less than 14 milligrams per liter, and gestational diabetes or given birth to a baby weighing more than 9 pounds. And the next is the pre-diabetes. That means your blood sugar level is above normal, but you don't have the disease yet. So for this kind of people, you need to pay more attention about your blood sugar, and you can purchase some blood glucose meter to check your blood sugar regularly. And then is the heart disease. And then is high fat and carbohydrate diets. This can sometimes be the results of food insecurity when you don't have access to enough healthy foods, high alcohol intake, and sedentary lifestyle, anxiety of being overweight, and so on. Proper diet and healthy lifestyle habits, along with medication, if you need it, can help you manage type 2 diabetes the same way you manage other areas of your life. Be sure to seek the latest information on this condition as you become your own health advocate. And let's talk about the role of the insulin in the cause of type 2 diabetes. To understand why insulin is important, it helps to know more about how your bodies use food for energy. Your body is made up for millions of cells, and to make energy, these cells need food in a very simple form. When you eat or drink, much of the food is broken down in the simple sugar called glucose. It moves through your bloodstream to these cells, while it provides the energy your body needs for daily activities. Insulin and other hormones control the amount of glucose in your bloodstream. Your pancreas is always releasing small amounts of insulin. When the amount of glucose in your blood rises to a certain level, the pancreas will release more insulin to push more glucose in the cells. This causes the glucose levels in the blood to drop. To keep blood glucose levels from getting too low, your body signals to eat and release some glucose from the stores kept in the liver. It also tells the body to release the less insulin. And the people with diabetes either don't make insulin, or their body cells can no longer use their insulin. This leads to high blood sugars. By definition, diabetes is blood glucose level of greater than or equal to 126 more per liter of blood after for your fasting blood glucose. A non-fasting glucose level greater than or equal to 200 more per liter, and a glucose level greater than or equal to 200 more per liter on 2 hours glucose tolerance test. A1C greater than or equal to 6.5 unless the person is having obvious symptoms of diabetes or is in a diabetic crisis. The diagnosis must be confirmed with the repeat lab test. Okay, today we have learned about the status of the diabetes and the symptoms and the different types of the diabetes. Maybe I think you will get some knowledge about the diabetes, and in the next serious live stream, we will learn more details about the diabetes. So if you are interested in that, please follow us, and I will help you to keep your good control of your diabetes. Okay, see you next time.